Over the weekend, Mizkif put out a response to the allegations levied against him by his ex-girlfriend Emiru. And in his live stream, he denied certain aspects of the allegations, but accepted others. Such as saying yes, there was a time he did in fact try to put his hands down Emiru's pants, causing her to yelp, but rather they were in a relationship at a time and he regrets not immediately saying sorry in that moment, while also not specifically saying if she was crying or not when it happened. Along with this, he also accused her of abusing her rabbits, showing pictures and videos of their living conditions, and saying she was a bad pet owner. But some online countered this narrative, pointing out that it's weird that Miz would record these videos almost to save them for blackmail in the future, while continuing to just let multiple rabbits die, and that also he may have contributed to a stressful environment with loud noises from punching holes in the walls. He also accused Emiru of being mutually abusive and violent. There's a lot to get into, so let's just jump into it. Welcome to the internet versus Mizkif's response. It starts when Cloudy Echoes posts on the livestream fail subreddit. Mizkif admits to controlling Emiru, told her to dress older, stop wearing pajamas, and prevented her from traveling without him or going out with certain people.
In regards to being controlling, I told her many things. I told her to dress older, to stop wearing pajamas, to stop talking about stalkers and schizos as a whole, stop talking about past relationships, and yes, I didn't want her to travel without me. I also said that I didn't want her to hang out with specific people. This is because I didn't want her to get hurt. I didn't want Emmy to get assaulted. I didn't want some man to do something to her when I'm not there, and I wanted to keep her safe. And I know with how my mental was and who I was back then that I didn't do everything right. I know I could have done better, and I'm sorry. I know I was controlling, and I should have just ended the fucking relationship, but I was so confused as a person. And I'm sorry I did it. I'm sorry things got to this fucking point, man. The last 9 months of this relationship, things got extremely fucking toxic. I told her to move out. She didn't move out on her own. I told her to move out because I wanted space.
And a deleted user replies, "It's just so crazy doing this publicly." And that's what he says, "Yeah, this is wild. Streamers will do anything for views, even if it's bad. They are a different breed." And Adeli replies, "I genuinely believe you have to be at least a bit sociopathic to thrive in that world." And Overthinking Ape replies, "This is what happens when you take socially inept sociopaths and make them famous." Wombo Wookie says, "What if One True King was actually a competition the whole time? And Isfond won that competition by not getting cancelled or being in controversy." And Stacks of Rubber Band says, "His prize is 800 viewers." And Wombo Wookie says, "A humble king." And Forever Drowning in Pools says, "Truly the people's paladin." Idolist End says, "His lawyer is crying right now." And I Heart Bad Code replies, "I think he's in the attorney is on my to-do list phase right now. I was a paralegal for like 11 years. This is a common phase people go through." Which, by the by, I always hear people say plausible deniability when talking about situations that need to establish intent. But the thing is, people would absolutely be stunned by the sheer volume of people who respond to, "You have the right to remain silent," with "Wanna bet?" And Boss Galka says, "This isn't even a case, is it? Did Emiru press charges or file a lawsuit? I thought she was only doing a restraining order. This is strictly about social standing and trying to stop the last rotten piece of his career from crumbling to dust like the rest already has. I don't think a lawyer would help here. I don't think there's anything he can do, but if there is, it's bullshitting and praying." He tweets out this clip with the caption, "Mizkif addresses the SA accusation."
We broke up for about a month, then got back together because we thought we can make it work. We went to get food at BJ's, a common place where we would get food, and then we went back to her house. We cuddled for about 30 minutes and started to kiss. She said that she was okay with this on her stream, and I started to advance to the next stage because I thought that's what she wanted. She yelped, and I immediately sprung up and was scared if I did anything wrong, or did wrong in general. I got scared and left the house. I apologize if that made Emmy uncomfortable for me not saying sorry, and I wish I said sorry back then. But we got back together soon afterwards. And during those last few months where we were fighting, we were still fighting, but it did feel like the relationship had good progress. And we were both agreed we need to talk about our future. Since it's been 3 years, we should see what we want. And Emmy had an idea to write down everything we wanted on paper. I'm going to let everyone know that what I'm about to say is very true. This is exactly what happened, and she cannot argue this. One day, after staying over Emiru's house, Emiru made me breakfast, and she wrote down everything she wanted. She wrote she wants me to move closer to her. She wrote that she wants me to marry her, and she wants kids with me in the next 5 years. And I just looked at this letter that was staring in front of me, and I just handed her back the paper. She began to cry, and I told her, I'm sorry, I just can't do this anymore. I knew we were just beyond the point of toxicity in the relationship, that our trust had completely died, and that we had so many issues that I couldn't deal with it, and I was not mentally well. I walked away. I went to her door, and as I opened it, the last words I ever heard her say is, "Don't go. I love you."
In Florida, man replies, how is it SA if he stopped when she reacted negatively? You can say it was in poor taste to make an advance at that point, but SA seems like a stretch and a half. He went for it and she wasn't interested at the moment, so he stopped. Don't understand the issue. And Yasin replies, it's SA because he tried to take advantage of her while she was in a weak state of mind. The fact that he stopped when she said no is what makes it not rape or attempted rape. There's a difference, I think. And Florida man says, the weak state of mind being that she was sad? We're putting that on the same level as her being passed out drunk? And Yasin says, of course not. If she was passed out drunk, that'd be rape, because she wouldn't have been able to say no. Though according to both, she was more than just sad, she was in a bad place bawling. That's not exactly the time to shoot your shot, unless of course, to take advantage of the situation. Mossy says, I can confidently say I've never tried to feel up a crying woman, or interpreted crying as asking for it, but I'm also a decent person. Marie says, he put his hands down her pants without asking. And Florida man replies, please tell me how many women you've slept with while asking for affirmative consent every single step along the way. He also tweets out this clip with a caption, Mizkif confirms that he did speak with somebody on Emiru's team at TwitchCon.
Can you clarify what, if anything, was said to her team at TwitchCon? I said that if she goes after me, then I will go nuclear. And that is exactly what I said. And that is what's going to happen. Because you can't mess with me anymore. I don't have anything to lose. I'm sorry I don't. Go after me all you want. I have nothing to lose.
And Repsion replies, you have everything to lose. The fact he cares so much about somebody having more views than you shows your disconnect with reality. You can't be happy for other people's success. Thus, your insufferable misery will decline your views with time. Go shake a cherry tree again in Japan, dickhead. Radical Moderate says, saying you don't have anything to lose makes you sound like a fucking serial killer. I swear, these streamers need to take PR classes or something. Unhinged shit. Madam Savvy says, just retire. Saying he has nothing to lose, threatening to go nuclear, he told Emmy he was S and had S behaviors. This escalates to scary places with someone like him, saying things like this. I hope Emmy and others are able to protect themselves. I hope I'm dead wrong, but I'm quite scared for anyone around him. Nicholas Durio tweets out, 2022 Mizkif. I didn't cover up an SA. 2025 Mizkif. I'm going to reveal all the darkest Twitch allegations I stayed silent about and covered up because my ex-girlfriend exposed the time I nearly committed S when she got more viewers than me playing Rust. Every time a career is on the brink, these Twitch/former Twitch streamers threaten to leak everything. Is everyone at Twitch an S offender? Is it like social media Epstein's Island? One cover-up after another? Dorner tweets out this clip with a caption, Mizkif explains how Emiru would neglect her own rabbits and didn't give them food or water and left them outside in 100-degree weather.
Emiru has a lot of rabbits. It was her calling when she first moved in. These were a big part of her life. But as those rabbits moved out of her room and into the living room, they started to see disgusting neglect. No food, no water, sometimes not having clean bedding for weeks. I, along with many others who would come over, would give them what they needed, and I would tell her all the time to take care of them, but to no avail. She completely neglected those rabbits, so much that many of them just died over 1 year of being around in my house. My cleaning ladies would clean them just because they felt terrible, and my brother once came over and said, and I quote, if you ever marry this woman, I'll never forgive you. Here is a video up close of Emiru's rabbits. These are small little mites that are inside the rabbit cage, and she didn't care. She completely neglected these animals, and I'm not going to sit around and let people say that she didn't. People who came to my house knew that they were neglected. This is an up-close view of the rabbit cage being completely disgusting and neglected. She left them to die, and I'm not going to sit here and have her pretend she didn't.
Edward replies to the clip, Emmy, he weaponized my emotional breakdown during my most vulnerable moments to S.A. me. Ms. She neglected her rabbits. Ivan Ironfist says, Lamau, Emiru literally predicted he would weaponize the pet's death. This dude did not even watch her video. And Alls says, so she predicted an argument that he would use against her because she knows she was in the wrong. That isn't a flex, lol. Scuba Ryan also tweets this clip out, and Papa Gut quote tweets it by saying, "Rabbits can die from loud noises. How do we know his destructive behavior of punching holes in the walls and breaking doors didn't create an environment that caused the rabbits to fail?" He then follows up with this screenshot that says, "Yes, rabbits can die from loud noises, as they are highly sensitive to stress and can die from fright. Loud, sudden sounds like fireworks, thunderstorms, or a neighbor's loud music can trigger a stress response that leads to a heart attack or shock, which can be fatal." Oofy quote tweets Strays, who posts out the clip of the rabbits and captions it by saying, "Rabbits are sensitive and are known to just die from literally any sort of change in routine or environments, especially if those environments are problematic and loud, like yelling and punching walls and throwing furniture around, or any of the myriad of rabbit illnesses that spread fast. Emiru isn't an animal abuser. She was in a shitty situation for so long, and that shit can affect the animals in the house it takes place in. Abusive relationships takes a toll on you. It makes it hard and sometimes almost impossible to keep track of everything life throws at you while also maintaining what you have going on. If there was any negligence, let's be real, I wouldn't be surprised if they died from Miz throwing shit around and screaming all the time. Things happen, and it's not always the owner's fault." And Zinder replies, "I saw Asmon make a pretty good point. If Emmy is the problem, if she's the one not taking care of the rabbits, how come they were fine both before and after she lived with Mizkif?" Nicholas Durio tweets out, "The Mizkif stuff is still so crazy. He claims there were animals suffering and dying in his house, and all he did was collect a video for blackmail. He absolutely made no attempt to save the starving, malnourished rabbits, and he thinks that helps him. For over a year, he claims animals were being tortured. Apparently, family members confirmed it. He wanted to get back together with the woman who allegedly killed 7 rabbits that he chose to let die. I know people have an issue with his version of events, and there is no proof any of this even happened at all. That's the point. In the best possible interpretation of what Mizkif said, he's just watching his girlfriend/ex torture her pets until they die in his home. It's bizarre." And Logistic replies, "You are Uno reversing this on him so hard. If you are granting the story, then the person directly responsible for the rabbit is 100 worse than Mizkif. Would you call them out on it? Or it's strategically bad to do so and just focus on shitting on Mizkif?" And Nick replies, "You're actually retarded if you think gathering evidence of animal abuse in your house and not actually helping the animals or getting them to safety is anything other than completely fucking psychotic. If you need me to say animal abuse is wrong so your brain-damaged little mind can comprehend the argument, fine. Yeah, it's insane to knowingly let pets that you see every single day be abused and die in your home." No Limits tweets out this clip with the caption, "Mizkif's online fake sister MJ Plays states Emiru did neglect her rabbits."
She neglected the rabbits allegedly. Allegedly, I saw with my 2, not 20/20 eyes, but like decent enough vision that they were definitely kept in overly neglected cages.
IKeepItTaco tweets out, "Emily," referencing Emiru, "has been one of my best friends for 10 years. At first I thought this wasn't needed, but it's insane to me to see some people are actually calling her an animal abuser or bunny killer on here the past few days, and stating it as fact. She goes way beyond for her pets, and in my view, Mizkif's claims are so easy to refute. To me, he often seems to avoid accountability. He has always come off as highly inauthentic. I personally suspect the cage was recorded after she left back in early July 2024, and kept in case it could be used against her later. Seeing his decision to share the video now instead of back then, it seems to me he may have filmed and kept the video for leverage. What actually happens, to the best of my knowledge, Emily left the cage behind because she was moving out to a new house alone and took her buns with her. It made no sense for her to clean the cage that week. She was focused on moving away from a bad environment ASAP, and she planned to buy a new one for the new place. I helped her build the new cage at her place last summer. I have pictures of that day because while I was building it, her cat Cheddar was playing with my rings all day, so I was teasing him with them when he climbed into the cage. First 2 pictures. Then he attaches this first picture of Cheddar along with this picture. The post continues, "Rabbits are dirty animals. They shit and poop all the time in abundance. If you want a super clean cage with 0 poop visible, you'll end up cleaning it multiple times every day, every week. Most owners do it once or twice a week. It's normal for there to be poop. The poop is very dry, so it doesn't have any smell. There's no inherent issues with this. Rabbits poop 200 to 300 pellets a day each. I only know this because when you're around someone for so long that takes care of their buns, then you tend to learn a lot about buns. Why is the cage extra dirty and why does it have bugs in it? Emily didn't see a reason to clean it again if she was moving out and not bringing it with her. If I had to guess, it it was unattended for a couple weeks or more after she left. People were free to toss it away. The bugs likely showed up after the cage was left dirty for some amount of time. She left them to die? No, she didn't. 2 of the buns, Kiwi and Honey, are with her. Last picture. And the third one, Bean, passed away last year because of medical procedures. Black side 1, third picture. She was over 1 year old in this picture. So here is the pictures of Kiwi and Bunny as described by Taco, and this is the picture of Bean. Taco continues saying, Bean was 5+ years old when she died. She passed away late June 2024. It was due to a seizure. She always had health problems. When she was a baby, she would randomly pass out and stop moving for a bit. The first day Bean had passed out was when she was a baby. Emily immediately ended stream and drove 3 hours to the nearest open animal hospital because it was a Sunday and most of them nearby were closed. The vet said her heart would randomly stop pumping because her heart nodes weren't developed correctly. Years later, the vet said things should be okay now that she's older, but she then later on would again start passing out randomly and waking up. The heart problems never really went away. It just reappeared later as she got older. Maybe these stressful environments brought it back, I don't know. She had complications since birth. That's how she died. A few of her original buns later on were learned to have very poor genetics due to the breeder she got them from years ago, pre-2017/2018. We didn't learn this till the buns bred later on in their lives, and we learned it over time. That's also how Mocha died in September 2021, 6 to 10 months old. Her mom, Poe, 6 years old, passed away a few months after giving birth to Mocha. Unfortunately, Mocha inherited poor genetics from Poe, which caused her to pass away early. It's unfair for Mizkif to mention none of this, however, not surprising for someone who didn't mention any of their names to begin with, nor their history. Emily has cared for multiple bunnies over the years. If they had any medical issue or were found to have a birth defect, she'd spend thousands of dollars to give them the best care and as fast as possible. She tried to give her bunnies the fullest and longest lives possible, even when she was told it wasn't worth it financially. This was before she got into streaming too, and she is the same way now. They're not an accessory as some people try to imply on this site. It is hard to believe an animal abuser would do this. Then it attaches a quote from a veterinarian article about rabbits, saying, quote, loud noises can lead to extreme fear, heart attacks, and other health problems like gastrointestinal stasis. It's important to provide a calm environment and a safe, quiet hiding place to minimize their stress, end quote. Taco continues saying, honestly, I didn't think at this point until people brought it up here, but it's true that a lot of loud noises and stress can impact the bun. They're weak creatures. It's why people don't recommend them as pets, because if you could attach them too easily, you have to be prepared for premature deaths. In the clips from that period, Mizkif's behavior during this time came with a lot of yelling, door slamming, wall punching, and other loud outbursts. Loud noises and stress can exacerbate rabbit heart conditions. Due to this, I don't think he considered the bun's well-being until it benefited him as leverage. Rabbits are prey animals. They're very sensitive and fragile creatures. Saying they died because of no food, no water is completely false. Or she left them outside in 100-degree weather. She lets the buns to the rest of the house and sometimes the backyard to roam around. That's healthy for them. She doesn't keep them in cages or playpens 24/7. He keeps referring to them as rabbits, but he doesn't even know any of their names, not a single mention. I got the impression he sees animals as opportunity. Me, Emily, and a few other friends were watching Alien Romulus last September. It's not often that we all spend time together as a group IRL because everyone is split across the country. What happens? She tells me she has to leave, but she'll be back fast because Mizkif needs help with a stray cat that he found at the airport, and he has no one else to help him. It felt performative to me when he posted and later deleted the cat photo on Twitter. She missed out on the entire movie and showed up 30 minutes after it was over. I told her it seemed to me he was just using the stray cat as a way to interact with her and get her to hang out with him. The stray cat ran away, no surprise, and nothing was achieved. Emily had told him earlier we would be in town that week, so I suspect he might have used that information to try to minimize her time with us. At that moment, it seemed he still had a lot of influence over her at that time. I think that's everything I gotta say about the buns. I know I've been criticized for being vocal on numerous drama situations in the past. I think it's important for me to speak because I've always been in a position in my life where my livelihood isn't at risk for speaking out against people who might be a detriment to our community. I've never relied on streaming for a living and never will. Not everyone can say the same. I don't even stream anymore. My passion isn't there anymore. It's somewhere else now. Then he does a TLDR and continues, I took my time writing this to make sure it reflects only what I've personally seen, heard, and experienced, and articulate it in an easy to follow format. Disclaimer, these are my personal observations and opinions based on what I've personally seen and experienced from my own perspective. Others may disagree. Jake Lucky tweets out, Mizkif, Emiru was also violent, attaching this clip.
I was not perfect, and I reflect on those situations with poor taste to myself. I'm ashamed that the situations got so bad, but Emmy was also violent. She would throw clothes or plushies at me, and I punched holes in the walls or slammed doors in aggression.
Harp replies, he actually said this out loud with a straight face. Bobox tweets out this picture with the caption, Emiru and her pile of deadly pink projectiles that she used to assault Mizkif with. And he tweets out this clip with the caption, Stable Ronaldo can't believe Mizkif called Emiru violent for throwing clothes and plushies at him.
I'm ashamed that the situations got so bad, but Emmy was also violent. She would throw clothes or plushies at me, and I punched holes in the walls or slammed doors in aggression. I one time did say I was gonna...
Wait, so No, I gotta be getting trolled. Wait, I'm not even kidding. Is this a joke? Did I just hear... Did I just hear him say she threw a plushie at it? That's fucking, like... Just...
I walked away. I went to her door, and as I opened it, the last words I ever heard her say is, "Don't go. I love you."
What the fuck is he even talking about?
That was really him? That was an AI?
What the...
Tectone tweets out this picture with the caption, "Me when my partner throws a sock at me." And the Particle of God replies with this gif saying, "Me when my girlfriend is better at WoW than me." Yeet also tweets out that Mizkif has reportedly disabled his YouTube comment sections, besides his most recent video, and the ability to make AI videos of him on Sora 2. John's Adventures replies, "I'll go nuclear, I have nothing to lose," said the innocent nice guy. Yeet tweets out this clip with the caption, "Asmongold apologizes for platforming Mizkif."
And I said at the beginning, right? I said it, you know, a while ago. It's like it will be bad, and it's not my story to tell. And I think you guys can see why now. I apologize for two things: for vague posting about it and saying that, and I also apologize for platforming him. Right? I mean, the truth is, I couldn't have known. I didn't know any of this whenever I met him. Whenever we started OTK together, I had no idea. And when I did realize, you can see kind of the way that I dealt with it and everything, and it's just like in stream, like this is the reason why I fucking like when Ludwig had that clip about like 95% of streamers never got to talk to again, I was like, yeah, yes, bro, like yes, you're so right. Like the thing that happened in 2022 was kind of like the beginning of the end for me with like being friends with any streamers or anything like that. And I have like a very small circle now of people that I'm close with.
And Showtime replies, "I find it cringe as fuck that both Asmongold and Tectone keep making this about themselves. I watched Emiru's video and understand the situation from her end now, but holy shit, it feels like a lot of creators are just jumping on this coming out story for engagement points." And It's a Diamaliano says, "That's tone deaf. If he didn't make a statement about this, people would have nagged him and said he supported Mizkif, he's a bad man. Instead, he approached the thing up front. But it's Kafka trap situation. He'd be criticized for saying it, and for not saying it all the same." Jay replies to the clip of Asmongold by saying, "Hitler apologizes for being friends with Joseph Stalin." He also tweets out this clip with the caption, "Asmongold responds to Mizkif addressing the controlling allegations."
You brought her to the house and she was already doing TikToks like this to begin with, right? So like you knew what you were getting yourself into, and now you're trying to make her change her content. Now, after everything that we know about Miz, I think that it's much more likely that the reason why he did that is because those videos, maybe it did annoy him as her boyfriend, but also, like, you've got to keep in mind that Miz was also farming content with other girls in real life. Like, he would bring on girls like me, Jenna Lynn Meowri. He would bring on, you know, I remember Peach Jars would be on the stream, and that wasn't like super sexual, but it wasn't not sexual either. And like there was an innuendo there, right? Emily, yeah, ST Peach, the Botas, he would bring up Alinity, Fandy, right? Yeah, he would bring these girls on all the time. So before we go and we talk about like, oh, well, it's just like a boyfriend that didn't want to be disrespected by his girlfriend, how can you talk about not wanting to be disrespected by your girlfriend and even play that card whenever you have a revolving door of girls around that you bring on to farm as if like there might be something going on? You see what I'm saying? So like it's the implication of that, right? And so like really that it's just bullshit. And so even if you believe that, it's a double standard that he had. So it's like you took a girl that makes TikToks and makes short form content and you bring her into your house and you say you're not allowed to do this anymore. Meanwhile, you're doing the same type of stuff, and Miz has his own stalkers and his own shit too. It's not like he doesn't deal with this. He deals with it too. And so at this point, I think that especially now that it's been so openly discussed and revealed that he cares a lot about viewership, I think that it's much more likely that the reason why he didn't want her posting that content is because that content would get her a lot of attention. Because it did. Big surprise. So this is the reason, like, I mean, you see kind of the reason, like, I mean, it's just, it's bullshit after bullshit after bullshit. None of it even makes any sense.
OTK then tweets out, OTK fully supports its co-owner and sister Emiru, and we stand by her side and admire her strength in coming forward and sharing her story. While Mizkif was one of several founders of OTK, the organization terminated its relationship with him some time ago for reasons unrelated to the recent events, and he holds no stake in OTK or any of our other companies. Out of respect for those who have come forward, we will let their voices speak above ours. Rune Monster quote tweets with this gif in the caption, OTK every 6 months, and it's a man face palming. Trickson at Crazy Style says, they gotta pack it up, man. This place the online equivalent of the evil ass R building. He tweets out this clip with the caption, TrainwrecksTV gives his take on the Mizkif situation.
I see some messages in the chat, guys. Listen, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Listen, bro, I'm staying in my lane. I'm doing my thing. I think it's, you know, it just, I've been in the game. I've been in the game so fucking long. You know, it's been like a decade or some shit. I don't even know. Maybe less, maybe more. So, like I said, I'm just kind of in a defensive stance. I'm just doing my own thing, staying in my own lane. That's kind of what wisdom, you know, has taught me over the years. I'm an old fucking man with gray hair. So like I said, I'm staying in my own lane, doing my own thing. That's the way it's going to be. I know a lot of you want reactions, this and that, but yeah, we're just, I don't know.
And Fabarb replies, well, yeah, he doesn't directly have to farm drama anymore, duh. Easy money from gambling addicts. Ranting Rooster says, the way him and XQC are backing down from this when they go feral over literally everything is really disturbing. They really do see Mizkif as a respectable peer. ADHD tweets out this clip with the caption, Alinity's thoughts on the Mizkif situation.
Wanting him not to be alone. Because I remember how difficult it was when I was so alone. When no one wanted to talk to me, no one wanted to interact with me, no one was by my side. And so, like, for me, it's like a struggle between my loyalty to Miz and the fact that he was there for me when nobody else was, and then learning all these things that he did to someone that I really, really, really care about. And so I just want to conclude with saying that I believe Emmy, and that I support her, and that I really, really hope that Miz can get some help.
And the Lord replies, there's two big reasons why Mizkif helped her on her lowest. It's his method. Approach a hot girl when she's vulnerable, act like he is a good dude, wait for the right moment, fuck her and leave her traumatized for life. Evo replies to the Alinity take by saying, a pretty mature take. Definitely says a lot that the person who feels they owe Mizkif a lot, Alinity, still won't defend him here though. And Alex replies, yes, it shows that people always follow groupthink. And War replies, groupthink would be supporting Miz. Cinema and Chill also post this clip on the Livestream Fail subreddit, and DDDNS says, she said he was taking advantage of helping her after the Milo drama. It's a repeating pattern of Miz helping someone at first so he can control them later. And Real Dog replies, MF is real life BoJack Horseman. And J-Switch Gaming says, BoJack at least realizes he's a piece of shit. I know that isn't a saving grace, but he at least tries to make amends. Miz is just a piece of shit. Sad Butterscotch says, I feel like the Emmy and Maya accusations were an open secret for a bit. I'm not even overly parasocial, but I saw people in comments joking about it here and there for months. And Pormock says, I remember when Emmy and Maya did a collab at her sanctuary last summer, there were a lot of comments about how they bonded over his abuse. And Inside Sherbert replies, would you say they bonded over his mistakes? He tweets out this clip with the caption, Tectone offers advice to Mizkif.
I will say this, Miz, in case you're watching this, I do hope you take care of yourself. I do. I know you're kind of going down this route of you want to drop nukes on everybody and watch the whole world burn, and that's fine and that's dandy. It's not really going to change anything, is it? Not really. You can do whatever it is you want to do, but my suggestion is just that you simply retire, move forward with your life. You have the money, and you know, keep on living.
Meowry quote tweets the post by saying, that one friend who never takes his own advice. And Austin replies, here comes another good-for-nothing OF broad trying to virtue signal. And Meowry says, can we please come up with more creative insults? Thanks. And Hallie says, not an insult to call a dog a dog. As someone who has experience with sex, I'd love to send you all some lube recommendations for all the dick riding you're doing. Cheers. And Hallie says, no way you're using dick rider as an insult after posting, can we please come up with more creative insults? Thanks. Lamau, are you drunk? The same excuses you're her girlfriend? What a sad, sad existence. And Toki replies, not an insult to call a dick rider a dick rider. Emerald Apple replies to Miaru's original quote tweet by saying, he hasn't been streaming for months now, but of course you know nothing. Big Vid replies to Miaru's post by saying, agreed, but no comments about all the Miz stuff? Odd. And Miaru says, I've had my own unfortunate experiences with Mizkif, and I've considered speaking out about them. I, however, didn't feel it was appropriate to bring them up so soon after Emi shared her experiences. I think that's reasonable. If you think for a second that I condone his actions, you're very mistaken. And A1 Beef replies, your silence protects no one but Mizkif. What if you had spoken out earlier? What if everyone who had bad experiences did? Maybe you could have stopped Emi from ever getting involved with him, but you kept silent, and everyone knows why. For clout. Shame on you. Shame. And Miaru says, have y'all conveniently forgotten back when I would constantly get hate brigaded by his community on my socials after Twitch banned him for his behavior towards me at PAX East back in the day? I didn't even stream on Twitch at the time or knew who he was, by the way. You all demand things and have no understanding of the interactions and conversations that occur behind the scenes. Check yourself. Dom quote tweets it by saying, dude basically said, hey, big bruh, you ain't gotta expose me anymore. Just chill and live your life. Amy OK tweets out about Tectone saying, the CEO of our Olympics getting a little too comfortable on the timeline with all this Miz stuff. We haven't forgot about you, Baldy. And Dark Sleuths replies, a typical OF whore thinking she is important. And Amy replies, getting naked and selling pics versus R-ing your girlfriend and making her pay rent and sex. Which is worse, Luca trade or 9/11? Novaruu tweets out, my experience with Mizkif SHing me. Back in 2019, I hooked up with another streamer who told me he was single, but I later found out he was still involved with a mutual friend. That person anonymously leaked our private DMs. While I was already dealing with that violation of privacy, Mizkif used the situation as content in front of tens of thousands of viewers. On stream, he mocked and degraded me, encouraging others to shame me sexually. His comments included references to adult work I did when I was 18 and sarcastic remarks suggesting I should come over so they could use me for content, while his friends joined in slut-shaming and ridiculing me. His audience harassed me for months afterwards, echoing his comments. I was only 20 and new to streaming, while most of them were in their late 20s. The entire ordeal was deeply traumatizing. Mizkif later sent me a brief apology, only after realizing his behavior might get him banned. By then, the damage was done. I was a small streamer and too scared to report him in fear of the backlash. I'm not trying to rehash all drama, but I truly believe Mizkif has a pattern of abuse and does not deserve a platform. I support every person who's come forward about their experience with him. She then attaches this clip with the caption full video. It's a hard watch and I cringe deeply watching it back. And then her thread continues, I know some people will try to twist my intentions, but I'm speaking because what happened was wrong and staying silent only protects abusers. Most people thought it was funny at the time, but I know some saw how disgusting that situation really was. She then attaches this post on Reddit from SG8970 who says, I've been around too long, but I remember there being more to Nova/Cutie thing, and Cutie not liking her for things other than this. I can't be the only loser that remembers this shit. I feel like there's more to this than Cutie just blacklisting her to protect Miz or some shit. Nova has had questionable behavior too. I can imagine a lot of people not liking her, but it's fucked any harassment she dealt with. And Nova replies, my post was reposted to Reddit and I just want to respond to this. If there was any beef between Cutie and I prior to this stream, I am not aware of it. This was my first public drama, and besides being a former adult worker at the time, no one really knew too much about me. And lastly, yes, I have been involved in controversies, but almost all of them came from calling out problematic creators. If that makes you uncomfortable because it challenges your image of your favorite streamer, maybe ask yourself why that is. If I wanted attention, I'd be streaming every day, but I've genuinely dedicated this year to fostering kittens for my local shelter, 26 this year, taking care of my pets, and building genuine off-stream friendships. Tonsil Deep replies, not defending anyone here, but you have your OF in your Twitter bio. Nothing said here was defaming or not already available on the internet. The internet is forever. Anything here will always be here. Was it shitty what they did? Sure, but they didn't lie. And Nova replies, at the time I had quit adult content and was trying to move on from it. They knew this and used it to shame me. And Tonsil says, the internet is forever. There is no moving on from anything here. Not saying it's fair. It is just the way the world we live in works. Age of Illusion replies, I don't see any SH in this video. What even is this? Maybe embarrassed you, but SH? No. Tom replies to the clip by saying, the craziest thing is that anyone could ever watch this live and not think that there was something wrong with it. Also a great example of one of the reasons I never like a cutie. Most reasonable Twitter user says, this one doesn't sound like that big of a deal. E-girl gets discussed. Jaws also posts this post on the livestream fail subreddit, saying Novaruu talks about Miz SHing her and how Cutie Cinderella blacklisted her after the harassment happen on stream. And Jesseth replies, Miz is a cringe weirdo, but everyone who has been in the live streaming space for any amount of years at this point knows that novaruu is an extremely weird person herself who tries to insert herself into just about every drama that happens. She is the epitome and person I think of first when I think of a Twitch clout shark. An intrepid tank replies, this is novaruu, the absolute weirdo who famously got caught trying to sneak into Cutie's house party wearing a wig as a disguise. Anyone in this thread who are dunking on Cutie must be 1, new drama frogs who have no idea who novaruu is, or 2, belongs to a certain psychotic community who doesn't like a Cutie/Ludwig. But chat messages from Mizkif actually were released when a Terminal posted them on the livestream fail subreddit with the caption, Mizkif tries to use drugs to defend himself in his offline chat, claims he has changed since moving to LA, image attached. In its messages of Miz saying, hey, don't harass people, come on, just chill, I'm getting people saying this place is a freaking out. You know, I know I've done a lot of wrong in my years on Twitch that I wish I could take back, but a lot of you know I've been working on myself for the past year hard. It's not weird, people don't know because people don't watch me. I've been in therapy for almost a year, been working on myself, and I want to continue to do so. I'm not going back to the place I once was. I was depressed, and taking every type of drug possible to short-term fix my brain. And in doing that, I hurt myself more. I was on steroids because I thought it would fix myself. I was taking shrooms every day to fix my brain, but that destroyed me. Never take shrooms when depressed, like ever. I would take my head and push it into my pool to try to drown myself on shrooms. So for 2 years, all I did is take shrooms to fix my brain and steroids to fix myself. I tried acid and that backfired. In doing that, I know I fucked up so bad and hurt so many people around me. I lashed out, I was angry and out of my mind. I did take steroids. That gave me insane anger issues. You could tell when I was. Because I don't want you guys to know I was, it was embarrassing. I got off steroids about a year ago fully. You can't just get off it. I take full accountability for who I was. I wish I didn't just go for drugs and really focus on fixing myself. I went for short-term fixes and it backfired. But I am proud of my progress this last year. I'm proud of who I've been becoming. I feel more normal than ever. It doesn't change what I did in the past. I understand people will see that and not want to come back, or not talk to me. Every time I close my eyes since 2022 while I was in Austin, I envisioned different ways of ending myself. You Never Lose replies with this picture of Mizkif and old chat messages from Miz where he says, if you think I'm on steroids, you're a fucking moron. Like actually a moron. Lighting plus pump plus genetics. Like actually the stupidest comments I've ever seen. It's not a compliment, it just undermines my work. You bust your ass and people think you're on steroids. My arms have always been huge? When haven't they? Have I always been on steroids? If I was on steroids, you'd see a massive change in my body. My chest is still garbage. My back is still whatever. I do work on my chest all the time. But guess what? I don't have great chest genetics. I have good shoulders/arms. And Disagreed replies, proof he'll lie to the end even when there's obvious evidence, lol. What a piece of shit character. How do these people keep getting famous? And Diligent Extent replies, being a sociopath is life on easy mode. And Obs replies, until it isn't. Rest Agile says, he only admits steroids now because he hopes it will help him with his lies against Emiru. Brett Golart says, he's been pulling the S manipulation on his audience since he signed with Rumble. It's so pathetic at this point. These logs actually make me laugh. Everything he was accused of by these schizo fans that watched him for years was actually true. And Vanilla Face replies, it was way before that, Lamau. It's what made me stop watching to start. He was just always sad over everything and it got miserable to watch. I tune in occasionally since I've gotten a fair amount of money from the guy from YLYLs, but never could watch for very long. Equal Plant replies to the post by saying, remember when Nut found his shrooms and thought it was rotten veggies and threw it all out? Attaching this clip.
It's fucking... It's the vegetables that they had. It's the vegetables that he got from...
Yeet tweets out this clip with the caption, Asmongold has no love lost over Mizkif's sympathy baiting.
Nowadays, use suicide as a trump card in response to criticism. It's kind of like Kevin Spacey got outed for being like a bad actor, which actually turned out to not be true, by the way. Seemingly, Kevin Spacey's a fine guy, or at least like not a criminal. But you know, immediately said, oh, I'm gay now, right? Or something like that, right? In order to like to do this is like really, you talk about, oh, well, I want to kill myself. Well, what about all the people that you negatively affected? Have you ever thought that maybe they wanted to kill themselves? Maybe you ever think about like maybe how that would affect them? No, you don't. You don't think about them because it's all about you. It's all about you. And that's it. No, I never have any, like, whenever a person goes and they do something that negatively affects another person, then my sympathy for that person goes down to 0. Sympathy baiting, yeah. Never let somebody sympathy bait you. This is that people like this are manipulative. They are conniving, manipulative, abusive people that will use your own emotions against you so they can get you while you least expect it. Never do it.
He tweets out this clip with the caption, Asmongold offers his honest advice to Mizkif. Thinks he's on track for jail.
Do you think he's done? I honestly, I think that, you know, really, I think that he should just take a break and he should just try to, you know, like, legitimately, like, just stop. Like, I think that I think he will continue spiraling, and I think that it might have already reached this point, but based off of, like, stories that are coming out right now, it might have already reached this point, but I think it will reach the point where he ends up doing something that ends him up in jail. Straight up. Like, because, I mean, it's already gone past the getting mad level. It's already gone past the getting physical level. Like, it's now, like, you're talking about, like, sexual assault, like, alleged sexual assault, right, for legal reasons, but, like, in general, right? And, yeah, bro's going off the deep end. Yeah, exactly, right? And so I really do think that he should just take a break. I really think he should just take a break and calm down. And so, like, really, that's my that's my honest advice.
Esoteric Catboy replies, he's literally only saying this because he's friends with Emiru. If Tectone did the exact same shit, he wouldn't give a fuck. Then this all the Dexero post started going viral, where Dexero talked about Tommy and Mizkif, with a quote from Tommy saying, I've never genuinely hated every word and movement someone did. Tommy in it says Mizkif is the worst person he's met last year. And this was back in January, but Laney quote tweeted a couple days ago saying, Tommy in it is vindicated once again. Cinnamon Toast Can also quote tweeted another post he made back in May where he said, another day, another content creator being exposed as a trash can, saying a couple days ago, I'm tired, boss. Shout out to our tier 3 members, internet representatives, Kiko, Sal, Codus, Bandito, and Captain Crash Out. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you all in the next episode.